Hello, my name is Paul Mayo. People call me a wisdom carrier. That's because I've spent most of my adult life talking to people, trying to help them to bring about a better state of harmony and balance in their life within themselves. I've been a spiritual teacher since I was 29 years old, and also I have a good, quite strong connection with my spiritual guide and with others in my team, in my tribe, spiritual tribe, about 200 of them, all of whom are hoping that I will be able to do what they want, which is to help bring a better state of balance into this world, because that's the way the earth is going, and I can contribute to that in my own small way, and I am doing, and I have done. So when I eventually pass over, which may not be all that long, with the decrepit state of the body I'm trying to work through, I should be able to look back, hopefully, and be quite pleased with what has been done, and hopefully not too disappointed at what hasn't been done. At the moment, I'm recovering from a stroke, which I had back in May 2020, which affected the eyesight of this eye and twisted my face, affected my voice, and almost paralyzed my left side. People come to me because I've got answers. They've got questions, and very often I've got the answers. And if it helps them, that's all to the good. I'm not a selfish person. I don't lust after material things. In fact, when I was 17 years old, I made a vow that I would live my life modestly, in a material sense, because I was quite sickened by what I saw around me at that time. And I have done. So here we are now. I'm talking to you. I hope you'll see that I'm a person of good intention. Yes, it's easy to make fun of me because of my stroke, my slurring of speech and so on, and the fact that I am autistic. That's the sort of body I'm struggling with, and it has been quite a struggle at times, but I think I'm not doing too badly. Mostly because I'm a very creative person. I mostly express myself at the moment, in recent years, through poetry, and I'm beginning to put some of my poems up online on YouTube. My technological abilities are not very good, but I just hope that you can bear with that and hopefully listen to some of those poems, which inevitably have got some of my philosophy of life embedded. Some of them are just humorous. A lot of them are, I think, quite thought-provoking. So I hope you'll take the trouble at some point to look one or two of those up. Anyway, for now I'm talking about the world, the state it's in, which is, it's been worse, but it's still headed in a positive direction, let's put it that way. And I think that the future of the Earth is very bright. At the moment, you wouldn't think it, because I'm speaking as COVID is on the rampage, the disease, and people are having to be extremely careful not to try not to get it, especially older people. I think I had it last Christmas 2019, before it even was supposed to have entered the UK, where I'm speaking from. And it was a very, very peculiar illness. Never had one like it. And it wasn't very bad for me, even though I'm old, because I take simple precautions like having a reasonably clean diet. I don't drink or smoke. I'm not too overweight or anything like that. And I take quite a bit of vitamin C in a safe form. There's a lot of vitamin C you can buy in the chemist that's not very good, it's poor quality, and you can overload your body with it. I personally prefer it in a more natural form, such as you get either from taking something like GoPo, available in the chemist, or from grinding up your own rose hips, which is full of vitamin C, and finding a way to eat those either through rosehip wine or rosehip juice. You can even buy rosehip tablets, and those provide your body with lots of vitamin C. If you go out then in the sunshine for half an hour every day, your body will convert some of that into vitamin D. If you have a simple multivitamin with zinc in it, or even just zinc, then you've got the three things that will help you combat COVID in your system if you do happen to catch it. Fingers crossed that you won't. But if you do, then those are the sort of things, if you're taking them as a matter of course every day, you will protect your body against the worst excesses of COVID. It can be very bad. It is a killer. So we do have to be careful. We do have to take care with our masks and our physical spacing, sadly not hugging people, etc. But overall, the world is heading towards a better era. How soon that comes is a matter of personal free will for each person. Everybody will either contribute to the world becoming a better place, or they will work against it, which would be very sad. But I think the majority of people do want to contribute to that process, and therefore it will happen. I've spent my life making predictions for individual people, so I know something about the future. I don't publish those, I don't say things in public about the future, and I'm not going to now, except just in a very general sense that we are headed for something better. And each person can contribute to that in quite simple ways through personal behavior. So if you are a loving person, then know that you are helping a wonderful process to occur in the world, without even saying anything to anybody, without trying to teach people or preach to people. You can contribute by being what you are. If you're a loving person, that's the most important spiritual value that you can encapsulate, espouse, whatever the word is. I struggle with words nowadays since my stroke. But I think you'll understand what I'm saying. Also, if you can be a very understanding kind of person, try and understand why people do what they do, even if it isn't a positive thing, that will help. It's a very wonderful value to have. And in the end, we are our values. Our principles are based on our values. Everything is based on our values. It's like an attitude thing. If you have a good attitude, a positive attitude to life and to yourself, then it will radiate from you, a bit like a light that can only be seen with the inner eye. So, this time, as I'm speaking in December of 2020, with COVID raging all around, is such an important time. It's the beginning of a whole new era. And some would say, well, that's to do with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in the sky, which is exact this December. But whatever it is, it's the beginning of a whole new era. People wonder if this is the beginning of the Aquarian Age, the true beginning. The nominal beginning was said to have been on the 12th of December 2012. But the true beginning, where it really begins to happen, is in December 2020. There are many who say, well, the Aquarian Age won't even start for another 100 or 2 years, or it started 100 years ago. The fact is, we're on the cusp of it, whichever way you care to look at it. 2012 was the formal definition of the beginning of the Aquarian Age that was accepted at the time. Now we have what I'm calling the true beginning, where things are really starting to move. And true beginnings do tend to tail after the formal beginnings of things. So, for example, if you look around you, we have this wonderful gift of the internet to help people to communicate with one another, free of the constraints, to some extent, of authority, and free of the problems that are associated with physical communication, like the limitations. You can write for a newspaper and how many people read it? You can write a letter. One person reads it, maybe a few, if it gets passed around, and so on. You can talk to a small audience or a large audience. We're talking a few hundred, a few thousand people, that's all. On the internet, we can talk to millions. I'm hoping that you will share this with others that you know, in the hope that there will be lots of people that listen to what I'm saying. So, I know it's a difficult time in 2020 December, and throughout the whole of 2020 even, for an awful lot of people. But there is some positives to that. I think one of the main positives is that we are, as a world, as nations, we are waking up to some realities. That we can't just keep on being terribly, terribly materialistic. And that's what the New Age is partly about. It's less materialistic. Yes, we have to look after body and soul, of course. But the emphasis needs to be on sharing, on the sharing of knowledge, on better attitudes. On being kind to one another, loving kindness, unselfish love. We can all do selfish love, but that's a much lower vibration of love. Unselfish love is the key, the core. It's at the heart of love. Love is a wonderful thing. The universe is made of love. It is that common. It's everywhere. It isn't just the people of Earth and animals of Earth that experience love. It's experienced just as much or more everywhere. All the negativities of life are made out of deconstructions of love. There is really nothing else. There is only love. But people have been gifted free will, and if we want, we can pull that love apart and turn it into something that it isn't. The opposite of love is not hate. Hate is a deconstruction of love. Love has no opposite. It's whole. It's a single unit, if you like, and it's everywhere. The whole universe is constructed of love. And in order to manufacture hate, we have to use our free will and pull that love apart and tear it into bits and turn it into something that is not meant to be. That's up to us. We can do that if we want. We have free will. That free will is respected. But it's not a very good idea, because in doing things like that, people incur karma, and karma is inexorable. In other words, there is no getting away from it. Once we create karma by doing things in a negative way, by being hateful, angry, resentful, jealous, envious, etc., we are creating karma for ourselves, and that karma will follow us around from lifetime to lifetime if need be, until it is expiated, until it's paid off. How do we pay it off? Good deeds, consciously being good people, trying to help one another, being kind in a loving way. These sort of things pay off karma. But most people pay off their karma about 100 times over. And that's once they get to the point where they realize it has to be paid off, which it does. It cannot be escaped. So, if you are a loving person and you try very hard not to be a hateful person or a resentful person or a jealous person, if you don't envy anybody else what they have, then you're just the sort of person that is already helping the world to move towards a better state of being. Yes, sure, you have your problems. I have mine. For example, I'm having to work through this decrepit old body. Which has got bits falling off it all over the place. My eyesight doesn't work very well anymore in this eye. And you can see my eyelid is drooping. That's a problem. It's hard for me to walk along the road now in a straight line without wandering into the road. I can't always find the words that are the right ones for what I want to express. That's why I turned to poetry, to try to find those right words. And I've had a lot of help from that, from what people call the muse. In other words, discarnate poets who've passed over and still want to write poetry. So they do it through me. That's nice. I like it. As long as they don't keep waking me up at night, that's not so nice. In the heavenly realms, they don't really have any sense of day and night. So I've tried to educate them with that. I need my sleep. Yes, so here we are, struggling along as best we can in this material world, trying not to lose heart because of all the difficulties we face. There are a lot of people now who are feeling very lonely and out of touch with those they love, if they even love anybody, out of touch with themselves, out of touch with their own hearts, unable to express perhaps what's in their mind. Is there even anyone to talk to? But I'd urge all of you, whatever the difficulties, to be of good heart. A better state of the world is on its way. We're not descending into the most awful destruction imaginable unless we bring it about ourselves. And everybody has free will. Why would we want to do anything like that? Passes all imagination. And yet there are people around this world, I won't mention any names, but quite a few people, unfortunately, who would just love to wreak destruction on some other part of the human race, and of course bring it on themselves in retaliation. Why would they do that? It's a mystery, not a very nice mystery either. Luckily, there are also people who are the voice of reason, a God-given capability, reasoning. Wonderful, wonderful thing. And the voice of reason has so far, at least in fairly recent decades, predominated. We do in the end need to become one world. But even if we want to be individual nation states for now, that's fine, as long as we deal with one another with respect, as long as we are harmonious in our attitude, as long as we have a mindset that allows negotiation, agreement, and so on. All of that will help. Well, I've probably spoken too much, but there we go. I've said a few things. In the future I'll say more, but for now I'd better say God be with you. Let's keep going. Stay within harmony and balance. Try to be good people. Try to be kind to the people around us. Try to be kind to ourselves, and then we will be helping the world to move towards a better state.